Lamb boy. And I guess I've been dreaming. Cause now that I'm woke, everything that I see ain't what it seems, man. I guess I've been dreaming. Cause now that I'm here, what I feel motivates me with reason. I guess I've been dreaming. Cause now that I'm woke, everything that I see ain't what it seems, man. I guess I've been dreaming. Cause now that I'm here, what I feel motivates me with reason. I guess I've been dreaming.
Just like adjust me there. They get the little adjust it. Okay. Better. And with the end there, peace and love to all the guys and goddesses and all the high vibrating species on the planet. How are you doing today? Salute to you. Academies, what's bustin'? What we doing, y'all, man? What's up, man? What's going on out there, man? What you playing with, y'all, man? You already know how it is. You know what I'm talking about? High vibing, baby. Liddy in the city, of course. And we keeping the greens. You know what I mean? Where's a little blue on that side too, but you know that's the throat chakra. You know what I'm saying? The speaks of that truth. You know what I mean? A little bit of that is definitely needed. Well, matter of fact, we need a lot of that these days because there's been a lot of lies floating around, and there's a lot of manipulation and a lot of propaganda that we just gotta weed our ways through. Good people, and you know it. Just as well as I do, you know it. And we use the critical thinking. But anyways, good people, we are back with another SCP-001 proposal. Memento Mori. I don't know. I don't even have I ain't got nothing right now. I don't have anything right now. By this title, I have nothing. Yeah, you get titles like the Black Moon, I can give you a little bit. I could probably, you know what I'm saying, probably throw a couple ideas out there, but Memento Mori. Latin, Spanish, maybe. Memento Mori. Yeah, it sounds a bit Spanish, maybe Spain. But I don't know anything. I can't get y'all them. So, yeah, I hope everybody's good, for one. I hope everybody's good out there. You know what I'm saying? Glowing on the green, or better. And if you're new, do what we do right now. You know what I'm talking about? We into spiritual stuff. Paranormal, monsters, the weirdo stuff. That's what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Just the lamest terms, just to make it simple. That's what we do. Anything spiritual in nature we're going to cover, but right now we've been in this SCP Foundation and we've been here for a minute. And it seems like we're going to be here for a minute. Like when I first got started, I was doing some ghosties and in nature videos, which all is spiritual in nature. And now I've found these SCPs, and I ain't really came out the office yet. I mean, we went to the field, but then we get right back in their department. Then we go right back to the field. Like, so it's been SCP series going hard. We even brought the hookah out at one point. We was going so hard with this thing, which we gonna bring it back. But anyways, we got this joint right here. You know what I'm saying? I hope she got 444 with you. You know what I'm saying? That is 444. That's 40 minutes and 44 seconds. 444 there. Get you some. I hope you got that on you. If not, you know what I'm saying? Just take a break and then slide back in and finish your plate. All good. Feel me? So, Academates, I hope you got what you need, because I do. And without further ado, we're going to get to what it is that we do. But I hope you got the popcorn.
SCP-001.
Oh. I jumped the gun, y'all. I ain't even got my headphones. I'm going to do entertain without the headphones. Phones in. Alright. Bus.
Memento Mori.
Memento Mori.
Memento Mori is a Latin phrase meaning remember death.
Latin, what I told you.
Or, in other words, remember that life is finite and death comes no matter what.
But it's not real.
Death is a common occurrence in the...
Okay. Depending on what you subscribe to, death it's a man-made. It's man-made. It's man-made, man. It ain't what you think it is. Now, there are things that do meet death, and that means that there is no comeback for whatever entity or person that is. There's just no comeback. So yeah, there is a death for certain people where you know what I'm saying, your energy dissipates, it's no more. You're no more. That's the final finite death. But the transcendence, what we consider, or what they make, you know what I'm saying, what they got people thinking what death is the body dies and your spirit leaves the body. I mean, just with that concept alone should tell you that only the avatar died. And if you don't want to use that, I only really like the, you know what I'm saying, trying to really change my vocals for vocab for that actual word of death and dying, right? It's almost like the avatar ran out of batteries. You used up all the juice. You damaged you know what I'm saying? You damaged the avatar. It doesn't function anymore. So you got to get a new shell. You see what I'm saying? Like, these different concepts or different perspectives to look at it, I think would make it easier on people to accept certain things that are inevitable, but it's not the end. And if it's not the end, then how did you really die? You didn't. Souls and spirits don't die. They're forever. It's energy, and energy is forever. So you really don't die. You passed from this lifetime and you possibly go to the next one unless you failed your path on this lifetime, which you would come back here, or you will go to a totally different dimension, a totally different family, totally different place. But you're going to have to do the same things over and learn your lesson. And you're going to have to keep doing that until you learn it. And if you keep going further down, eventually it's it. See what I'm saying? So, but this death thing, to me, I don't really do the death thing. It's transcendence. We pass over, we cross over to the other side to possibly go on to do better, bigger and better things. Or, you know what I'm saying, we come back here because we failed the task that we were sent to do. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting out of my studies. Like I said, I'm not here to condone anybody of anything. You do your own research. This is my research and my conclusion. Okay? That's what that is. My research, my conclusion. You do your own. Get some dibs.
The SCP universe, of course. And most people working for the SCP Foundation are well aware that death is waiting around any corner. There are some individuals, though, notably the O5 Council, that typically seek to prolong their lives for as long as possible. This SCP...
See? And I'm going to try not to pause it so much. Ooh, look at that, y'all. 4, 4, 4, 4. You feel me? Peep game. The people that do that wants to prolong their lives, they're going to limbo. And they know it. That's nothingness. They know it. You can call that death if you want to. Limbo, that's worse than purgatory. I wouldn't want to be either place. But I've seen in the flights, I've seen in the nights, I've seen places I wouldn't want to be. It goes down. Horror movies every day. Horror movie type stuff. It goes down. In them lower dimensions, it goes down. Believe me. That's why I you know what I'm saying, I promote the green. I promote the blue. Stay up. You know what I mean? Purples. All the high vibrating chakra colors. You know what I mean? That root chakra, oof. And my favorite color was red. Until I learned that I was connecting with the root chakra. And the root chakra is a lot of things go down in the root chakra that you really ain't particularly proud of. And it definitely keeps you here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But people that want to prolong their lives, they've done things that there is no comeback for. And seeing that it's the O5 Council, 13 of them. If you know, you know. I know who these people are, and I know why they're trying to prolong them lives. I know why. But you ain't running from that. You can't get away from that. I'm sorry. You can't get away from it. You did it to yourself, though. You judged yourself. Remember that. You judged yourself. We're just here to execute.
SCP-001 proposal shows a time when those efforts ultimately come to an end, and death comes for even them. It goes without saying that, like any of the 001 proposals, this one is canon only if you want it to be canon.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
Watch out for that too. I know we just a minute into it, but I'm just letting y'all know. Before we get this thing truly busting and all the way down, there's certain things that's coming out now that you need to keep in mind as you go through these dockets. Keep certain things in mind. They telling you certain things. You just gotta see it. You gotta see it. They leaving it up to you. Conceptual art. They're gonna leave it up to you. If they already controlled the minds and manipulated the minds to not believe the stuff that's shown in front of them as to be the real, that's why they give it to you like this, and then they give you that one seed. You can decide if it's canon or not. Like, wait a minute. Why do I have to decide is it canon? Is it canon or is it not? Is it the real or is it not? Why are you allowing me to decide? You're not giving me enough data to make that type of analysis. But you're going to let me decide, though, out of ignorance.
In a surprising turn, this file is classified as Clearance Level 001/1 by the administrator of the Foundation, and all Foundation personnel are permitted and encouraged to read it. The personnel reading the file currently, however, is 05-13. SCP-001 refers to a collection of 13 anomalous areas present within Site-01, a mansion located in rural Virginia. The mansion was constructed in the 1760s by Duke Franz C. Williams.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I ain't even have to cut a cycle line. I knew it. Memento Mori. I knew it had to be Latin or something like that, right? Then we finally finna bust it down. First pick into the story, into the segment. And we back in Virginia. We rolling with 13 colonies, the 13 families, and now we're 13 spots, and we based in Virginia. Touchdown. And we know some of those people were Spanish. That speaks Latin. I speak. Well, I'm learning Latin. I don't know it all. You know what I'm saying? But I knew looking at that, like, man, it got to be Latin or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm learning Latin, though. You know? Digo son coeso.
An Austrian noble who founded the SCP Foundation and continues to serve as its administrator. Williams emigrated from Europe during the 7 Years' War, which, due to the number of anomalies present during the conflict, is also regarded as the first occult war.
Oh, this is about to be fun.
Williams arrived in America with a private party of 12, who would become the first overseers of the Foundation when it was eventually formed during the American Civil War. It became customary for new overseers to make their own additions to the mansion, often with anomalous effects. Access to the site was severely restricted until very recently, but much like this document, Foundation personnel are permitted to make trips to the mansion to observe it themselves. The first anomalous area is the Bridge Archive, an underground storage area holding approximately 2,000 historical artifacts from the early 18th century to the late 21st. Obviously, this article takes place a good deal into the future. The vast majority of these artifacts are not anomalous, but handling any of them well within the area subjects the handler...
Nah, buddy. I ain't gonna let you slide on me like that. Talking about obviously. No, for now. That ain't obvious. That ain't obvious right there, bruh. Obvious. What would be obvious is somebody to use their mind and be like, bro, we already know y'all time jumping and shit. Stuff. We already know y'all doing this and working with time and dimensions and all of that. No, bro, you ain't finna, I'm not. You ain't finna play me like that. I'm sorry. You can get them. You ain't finna get me. I'm not going for it. I know if you got some stuff in there that's way before its time or whatever, how the way you talking, that you got it from somewhere else. And it's there. Simple. Ain't no obvious. No, obviously y'all lying, man. Obvious. That's the most obvious thing about most of this stuff. Is you're lying. You're sticking lies between two truths, or you're sticking a truth between two lies. It's true lies, man. True lies, bro.
Similar to a sudden burst of visions, typically associated with the object's historical context. For example, touching a Spanish naval cannon induces a vision of a single Spanish galleon approaching a larger English man-o'-war and its escorts, possibly in the Caribbean.
Residual energy.
The galleon is sporting this unique cannon at the bow of the ship and fires at the man-o'-war. The cannonball collides with the ship, and seconds later, a number of massive tentacles rise from the depths and crush the man-o'-war, with a gigantic eye visible below the water.
Kraken!
Touching another object, a French cavalry sword, produces a vision of a battlefield in France, with French troops huddling in a trench while distant screaming is heard overhead. The screaming suddenly stops, and the French troops rush out of the trench. On the other end of the battlefield, a swirling sphere of wings and music begins screaming again. The vision then cuts to after the battle, with the field covered in corpses, and 05-1 is standing over the fallen body of an angel, pulling the sword from it. There's also an attached file written by 05-1, in which he blames himself for the loss of a couple of cities, and says that everything is worse now. The administrator then adds a note about 05-1, a man named Django, who was responsible for creating this archive. The administrator says that he met Django just after World War I, as he had been one of many paranormal experts hired by various governments to assist with the war effort. The pay was good and he had freedom to experiment, but ultimately he realized that his work was just being used to kill more young men, so he quit and drifted across Europe. The administrator knew of him by reputation, and they became fast friends, with the idea of an organization free of politics being immensely attractive. 9 years later, Django became the Foundation's Overseer Alpha, eventually changed to 05-1. Django had always been obsessed with history, with a collection of mostly non-anomalous artifacts in his family castle, which became the basis for the archive. He was dead set on the Foundation remaining neutral throughout the years, and he was the reason that they remained painfully neutral during the Cold War and during the conflict in Samothrace. He believed that even though men were dying, more men would die if they intervened. The administrator writes that the Foundation could never stay neutral forever, as the insurgency crisis proved that. He never filled Django's seat, and thinks that that was the beginning of the end. Area 02 is a converted bedroom in the East Wing, filled with 30 monitors and televisions mounted to the walls. These screens constantly display a variety of global information, from the daily NASDAQ numbers to precipitation levels of the Middle East. None of the screens are connected to anything except each other. One screen permanently displays the rate of traffic flow on all major American and European highways, with a note stating, "Driver rate needs monitoring. Fluctuations unclear. May be indicative." It then says to get in touch with the GOC, as they owe him. Another screen shows a shifting graph of the prevalence of anomalous tool use at Foundation sites, with a note reading that this risks a dominance scenario, and it's urgent that he address the council about this. Attached is also a few emails, the first of which was from 05-2 to Reza, the record keepers of the Foundation, demanding every bit of data that came out of Kabul before the bombs started falling. He writes that they're in crisis mode, as it's their job to make sure things like this never happen, and they messed up, so now they need to use the data to prevent it from ever happening again. The second email is from the administrator to 05-2, telling him that he needs to calm down, as they can't change the past. If all of his staff are terrified of him and hanging on by a thread, they can't do anything about the future. He urges him to not become obsessed. 05-2 responds by saying that he'll take 200 burned out staffers over one more corpse any day. The administrator's note about 05-2, a man named David, explains that he met him after the Gulf incident in 2028, when Dave was working as a lowly tech in the record-keeping department of the Foundation. The administrator saw something in him, though, a fiery talent for putting pieces together and taking information considered worthless and forming it into something useful. He gave Dave some trial runs and found him to be a very impressive, if acerbic, young man, and promoted him to 05-2 after the last one retired. Information is paramount at the Foundation, and he was the best there was at it, once able to figure out a Chaos Insurgency attack plan based on annual ammunition sales in Libya, crossed with Anderson Robotics stock prices. Unfortunately, he fell into a classic trap of becoming paranoid. As things became easier and started to calm down, he believed that it was because he was missing things. Every little accident or statistical improbability became his fault, and he blamed himself for events entirely out of his control. It came to the point where it wasn't enough to just solve the puzzle, he had to be the only one who had the answer. He went early, even by normal standards, as the administrator found him slumped over in his room, watching Powerball drawings. Area 03 is a warehouse on the outer grounds that has been remodeled into a workshop containing machinery and implements from a variety of time periods. Any item crafted with the tools and machinery in the area will carry some sort of minor anomalous effect with it. Most are anomalously improved at their given function, such as body armor that protects the wearer from damage, or a lockpick able to open any lock. One object, a solid-state computer drive labeled as practice.exe, contains an AI named Sophie, able to hold and maintain casual conversation beyond what it would be capable of considering its storage capacity. Another, a small crib mobile resembling the solar system with a 10th planet included, causes observers to fall into a state of relaxation. This item was labeled as Aggie's Baby before being crossed out. In an attached file, the administrator approached 05-3, Everett Mann, and tells him that they're having a get-together for 05-7, and it would be nice to have him there. He could maybe bring a gift for her child. Mann stays silent for a moment before replying that he doesn't think so, as he has stuff to finish up here. The administrator leaves, telling him not to work too hard. In the administrator's note, he says that Mann was good, and he liked him. He was a former member of Prometheus Labs, and when he came to the Foundation, he designed more efficient machines, containment chambers, and sometimes even weapons. He built the devices that eventually replaced the Scranton reality anchors, and designed the Foundation's first spaceship. He writes that Mann was a true prodigy that you see once in a generation, but he was odd, as you had to really push to talk to him. He preferred to stay huddled in his workshop all day and night, and the administrator isn't sure if he couldn't connect with people because he was always working, or if he was always working because he couldn't connect, or neither. They never found out what happened to him, as he just disappeared one day, and despite the biggest manhunt in the world, the administrator never found so much as a hair. He thinks that maybe Mann didn't want to be found, but he couldn't fill the 05-3 seat after that, as it would be admitting the obvious. Area 04 is a private library in the
Bro, extraterrestrial. You couldn't find him because he was off planet.
West Wing, containing a variety of texts and books on various anomalous phenomena. Most of these books were written in the past, but some will be written in the future, while others will never be written, so they don't technically exist. The library was placed in the mansion via a ritual aimed at amputating a portion of the Wanderer's Library, an anomalous location containing all possible knowledge. The ritual did succeed, as we can see, but it resulted in the caster being utterly annihilated. An attached file contains a small section of an index listing a few titles. 3 of them, related to the Serpent's Hand, have been removed. There's also a set of post-it notes with hasty pencil drawings depicting the Wanderer's Library, labeled as SCP-001, with the corner of the topmost one wet. 05-4 was Tilda Moose, a defector of the Serpent's Hand, a group that makes their headquarters in the Wanderer's Library. The administrator writes that a Hand member defecting to the Foundation is the rarest of the rare. He doesn't know much about her, though, and if she had access to the library, she could have come from any reality, not necessarily this one. It took him a long time to trust her, with her becoming 05-4 30 years after the 2 meeting. She became one of the Foundation's most valued assets, though,
Y'all see that?
a living encyclopedia of magic, and with knowledge of how to disrupt the Serpent's Hand, who were pretty much gone by 2049, aside from the 9th Occult War. Although the Council has had anomalous members before, they've never had an honest-to-God wizard like Tilda, but he says that she was one of the most loyal people he's ever met. Whatever the Hand did to piss her off, she never forgave them, with her joy in ruining them only matched by her thirst for knowledge. In the end, though, that was what did her in, as she lost
Them dang couches look crazy, folks. What the? Bruh. I just look weird, man. I'm just sitting here just looking just like these bumpy ass couches, bruh. Like, what the? Like,
access to the library upon joining the Foundation. Even though she knew what she was signing up for, he doesn't think she fully understood how important the library was to her. She would give anything to have her access restored, but in the end, she ended up giving everything. Area 05 is a large greenhouse and conservatory inside the gardens behind the mansion. It contains a number of colorful plants that no longer exist anywhere else in the world, with no records of them existing outside of Foundation control. They are plants that were supposedly found on a Fey island that have been meticulously reconstructed. One shrub with small white flowers which secrete a milky white substance has a placard noting that the substance has abnormal healing properties, and perhaps some should be sent to 05-9. Another plant, an aquatic fern with purple leaves, can be ground into a paste effective against magical wards. The placard notes that the seeds came from 05-5's mother. In the attached note from 05-5, she apologizes for the mess and says that
since he moved on, I thought he was going to... Okay, listen. I don't know what these plants bite, but TMI got such properties right now. And I'm pretty sure they're telling you about an island that's on this planet that, of course, you know, we can't get to it, but you know what I'm saying, you know that there. And that's where they get some of this stuff from, but then they put their chemicals in it, and the chemicals still, let me stop. But yeah, so do your research. You'll be surprised. Maybe in your backyard, you can save a life. Okay? Real talk.
she's just sick of it all, and feels like she's doing everything wrong.
If you ain't
She asks whoever reads it to make sure her dad doesn't find out about this, but finishes by writing that it's about time.
time to
In
tell
the
us,
administrator's note, he says that 05-5, Chelsea, was one he never expected to have as an overseer, being a half-blood fairy. He remarks that the Foundation's relationship with the Fae folk is riddled with lies, violence, and tragedy on both sides. The Fae population was decimated back in 88, although there were some still around. Chelsea was the result of a union between a Foundation agent and a Fae, giving her a chance at a career with the Foundation and the benefits of Fae magic. She had some adversity, but rose through the ranks quickly, ultimately being recommended for the 05 position by her predecessor. She always struggled with supporting and leading an organization that was such an enemy of her people. Decades of moral conflict built up inside of her until she couldn't take it anymore. This greenhouse was the closest thing to her homeland she had, so maybe that's why she ended things here. Area 06.
boy. I mean, some of y'all act like y'all just don't get it, man. Baby girl was about to lose her spit, you know what I'm talking about? For what happened to her, and she know who did it. Like, see, some folks just don't get, like, y'all, boy. And I'm only speaking for those that be acting, you know what I'm saying? You like high horsely proud. Like, you just don't get it. How you gonna come step on somebody and then expect them to just be happy about it? And then give them some small time memorabilia. You know what I mean? Man, motherfucker went crazy, bruh. Like, dude, this ain't enough, man. We had a whole sector. We had a whole planet. You feel me? And then y'all just came and just stepped on somebody, bruh, and just thought the shit was cool. And now you walk around like, well, I don't know what's wrong. What the? What did you just say a part of her story? What's her story? She's a fairy from and y'all smashed on her stuff and her people. And she's the last one left?
Is a bedroom in the West Wing, renovated and redecorated in the style of tradition.
Hey, but on another note, you know what about? I told you with the extraterrestrials and stuff, though. Like, listen, Buddy done vanished, you know what I'm saying? He building spaceships in Johnson, you know what I'm talking about? He done vanished, you feel me? That sound like some Anunnaki type stuff right there. He done dipped, and now we talking about fairies and the Fae. And I know they're here on this planet. I know that. I'm sure. I mean, I'm not the only one. You know what I mean? So, what we talk about, people? What we talk about, Academates? What are we talking about here? We're getting some breakdowns. I'm serious, man. Look at this. I mean, this dish, man. This come all the way back now from the get go, 1776 type shit. You know what I'm talking about? They say back to Virginia, boss, in the mansion, boss. I already set up a structure, boss. Stuff from other worlds and stuff. Already, boss. What's up there? You feel me? That's all I'm saying. I'm just giving it another thought. Second thought, third, fourth, fifth. You know what I'm saying? As many thoughts that I have to get to make sure that I'm clear and conscious with my decision of moving on or believing or disbelieving or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I give myself a chance. I learn to give myself an opportunity. You know what I mean? To make the right decision. Some things do take some time to really ponder upon. Like, you really have to ponder. And that's getting your discernment and your intuition involved. You know what I'm saying? With this decision. Using the all of you to make this decision. Like, to really feel and know. Is this real? Could this be some truth to this? Why are so many details that's reflecting this place but sounding like it's not this place? Like, that's what I mean by the manipulation and the mixed and screwing and the twisting of the words. And now we're talking about Fae magic. And you know what I'm saying? That, of course, the English language is, from what I understand, supposed to be spell casting as well. Just speaking English words is depending on how you use the word, man, you could damn near curse yourself if you're not careful. So it's like, that's why the saying goes, be careful what you wish for, because it just may happen. That it's real and it's magic. They give you these key phrases, but they don't tell you where it come from. I've always heard these quotes, where they spun from. You know what I mean? And all this information is like, why is this? Why is this? How ironic is that? Like, I don't do coincidence, so it's like, how ironic is that to be this in that place in this number? Like, it's too many chain links for it to be a coincidence. That's why I don't do coincidence. When I have enough evidence to know that there is some truth here. Magnifying glass. Sherlock Holmes, that thing. You know what I'm saying? We got to get up in there now. That's why I said from the get-go, I already told y'all, this one's about to be fun. Maybe for those that know, for if you're new, wake up and kind of, you know what I'm saying? But you still gonna do you. Your own due diligence. You still gonna do that.
No Middle Eastern homes.
That's
Touching
crazy.
any of the decorations in the room results in the hookah sitting on a low table to produce a light smoke. Hailing the smoke causes the subject to experience a strong vision. For example, touching a small flag of the piercing sun movement results in a vision of the city of Ariyat.
Man, that sounds like they smoking on that toe, boy. You feel me? That peyote.
Have fallen at some point in the past. The vision shows the flags of the piercing sun government everywhere, with loudspeakers loudly proclaiming the current date of September 5th, 2039, and that the Horizon Initiative has beat back another separatist movement. The streets are notably empty. The Horizon Initiative is a group consisting of various sects of the main three Abrahamic religions, focused on containing or destroying anomalies in the name of religion. Touching a quilted blanket on the bed results in a vision of a market in an Afghan village, showing a woman kneeling in a small shop while sewing a rug. A muted television shows an aerial view of Kabul in ruins. The subject witnessing the vision will cry after it ends, but won't be able to explain why. In the attached file, 056 is arguing with the administrator about the situation in Kabul, which the council just voted on whether or not to get involved. The administrator showed up just to invalidate 05-6 vote, as he didn't want him to rush into a fight he doesn't know anything about, especially after 05-1's death. The Council of 13 is down to only 10 members at this point, and the administrator urges caution from the rest of them. In his note, he writes that 05-6, Ali, was from somewhere in the Middle East, and even though he drifted from country to country, he loved it with all his heart. The Foundation doesn't have a great reputation in the region, so they wanted Ali to join them as an expert on local paranormal phenomena. The ORIA, of course, were also interested in him, being a group of interest devoted to anomalies in the Middle East. The Foundation convinced him to join them instead, and then sent him to the ORIA as a spy. In the end, he became directly responsible for the strong relations the Foundation has over there now. He was eventually outed as a spy, though, and was brought back to the US for an administrative job, eventually reaching the Council. The Foundation never managed to stabilize the region, and Ali had bet his entire life on the Foundation instead of the ORIA. When the Chaos Insurgency struck Kabul, he tried to fix his mistakes, but the administrator stopped him. Afterwards, he drank until his liver gave out, and then drank some more. Area 07 is a wooden gazebo in the gardens, containing an arbor which causes subjects who step through it to be transported to one of two extra-dimensional locations. None of the subjects' actions here will affect anything, and no one will acknowledge their presence. The first location is a small wedding in progress on a rainy day, where the bride and groom kiss under the arbor to applause from 24 other individuals. The group then mingles, and the bride can be seen lightly touching her belly. The second location is a funeral in progress on a cloudy day, with a portrait of the woman standing on an easel. The casket is closed on a table inside the gazebo, and a dozen or so individuals are standing nearby. The man stands at the edge of the gazebo, looking out at the mansion with no emotions on his face. In the attached email from 05-7 to 01, she tells him to get off his high horse for shaming her about taking actions where he won't. She writes that the people in Samothrace are dying by the day, and the piercing sun is still marching to Adiat, and they need to evacuate who they can, even if 01 is too much of a coward to work with the GOC. The administrator writes that 05-7, Agatha, was the best of the council, talented and loving. Her rise through the ranks of the Foundation was meteoric, and she was almost going to be on the ethics committee instead, due to her strong sense of morality. She met 05-13 long before joining the council, with the administrator only finding out about their relationship a week before their wedding. He believed that married overseers was a road to disaster, but it wasn't his place to say, and he's glad they were at least happy together. They made an odd couple, with 13 being a bureaucrat and Agatha a maverick, but they brought out the best in each other. He finishes by noting that she had a lot of love to give, but she died in childbirth. He doesn't know what happened to the child, as he left that to 05-13, who he says was good, but never quite the same. Area 08 is a large non-functional machine in the mansion's basement with an unknown purpose. 05-8 described it as a time machine, however. It has sustained heavy damage, including scratches and scorch marks. The interior consists of a small space with a seat and controls, alongside a small shrine with mundane memorabilia. One item is a small black disc that, when pressed, displays a holographic photo of two men with a small child, as the child cuts a birthday cake. Another item is a crumpled paper receipt for a Salomon implant repair in New Portland. No such store exists at the given address, but the date, repeatedly underlined in black marker, is September 16th, 2154.
Hey man, what y'all think that is? Like, what is this? Is this a telescope? It's possible. That's possible. At first I was looking like, damn, but like it projects something, or you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I was looking at first, but now that I'm actually looking at it, seeing all the stuff in the darkness over here. Yeah, it look like it's possible. Yeah, it look like it possibly be a telescope. But I don't know. What y'all think? What y'all think that is?
4. An attached file transcribes an excerpt from an 05 council meeting in which 05-08 suddenly asks the others if they think about when they're going to die. The administrator showed up out of the blue and told him that this discussion isn't productive, suggesting that he go take a lie down. In the administrator note, he writes that 05-08, Thaddeus, is another one he truly didn't expect, as he came from the future. He told them more than enough to confirm he was from a future version of the Foundation, and warned them about group of interest movements, containment breaches, and significant historical events. He told them enough to direct the Foundation where it needed to go, but never really talked about other parts of the future he came from, saying that it risked causing a paradox or causality. He had the unfortunate side effect of knowing how, when, and where each of his colleagues would die, including the administrator himself. He never told them any of the details, but he carried the weight on his shoulders. Eventually, he couldn't bear it any longer. He couldn't bear talking to each of them as if he didn't know the exact circumstances of their demise. The administrator finishes by writing that he deserved a better end to his story. Area 09 is a medicine cabinet in the bathroom of a private bedroom in the eastern wing. It contains a number of unlabeled pill bottles containing an array of medicines and narcotics. Consuming these medicines results in variable but positive health effects, able to suppress medical conditions considered to be debilitating even by modern science. One pill, stamped with a W, causes immediate short-lasting euphoria by altering a...
I'm just gonna say this. There is not one illness on this planet that doesn't have a cure for it.
person's brain chemistry. The bottle containing these pills is completely full and still sealed. Another pill, stamped with a Foundation seal, causes the gradual loss of a long-term memory. One of the pills in the blister pack has been used. 2 letters are also contained nearby, one still sealed with the word grandfather written on it. There is no return address on it, and it's covered in a thick layer of dust. Another letter, found in the wastebasket, consists of the words, Thomas, by the time you get this, The administrator writes that they used to joke that 05-09, Gene, was a lich due to his age and personality. He was grumpy, irritable, resistant to change, and required a small pharmacy to make it through each day. He was the oldest man the administrator ever met before he became an overseer, and he previously had worked his whole life to become the director of Site-19. He made a good overseer, sharp despite his age, and shrewd because of it. The administrator thinks that he was the only one Gene respected. Being in Foundation administration generally extends your life, due to having the highest quality healthcare in the world, and being on the council is the peak of that, due to drinking from the Fountain of Youth, SCP-006. As he was already old when brought onto the council, he was on the path to beat 05-01 as the longest living human on the planet. Then, one day, he decided he didn't want to do it anymore, although the administrator doesn't know exactly why. He had one of his employees wheel him out to the hills north of the mansion so that he could watch the sunrise alone. There, he turned off his own oxygen, and his body was cold by the time someone got there. Area 10 is a large dog bed inside of 05-03's workshop, pushed against the northern wall and covered in dust. A photo of a golden retriever is pinned to the wall behind it, and a number of items, including a leash and chew toy, sit on the bed. Touching any of these items result in the subject being transported to the southern shore of the pond on the mansion grounds. The attached file consists of a to-do list, listing a number of projects, such as Samsara, Olympia, and Deepwell, some of which are crossed off, and some aren't. Number 6 on the list is Back to Normal, which is uncrossed. Number 8 was apparently a test with SCP-343 labeled as Deific Entity Neutralization, and number 9 was to figure out Kabul Recovery Plan. 05-10, Cain Pathos Crow, is a Foundation doctor that was famously turned into a canine due to an anomalous event, which didn't prevent his continued employment with the Foundation. The administrator writes that Crow was a true genius, and in some ways getting turned into a dog possibly made him smarter, as he began to think in ways no human ever possibly could. The administrator recognizes the hilarity in having a dog as an overseer, but says that Crow was one of the best men he ever had the pleasure of working with, even if he wasn't a man. They used a lot of his tech after the 6-Minute War, and even more of it after 2050. He was also friendly in a dog-like way, always looking at the best in people, even when they had done nothing to earn his friendliness. Unfortunately, he was a dog, and dogs die a lot faster than humans. They fought biology as best as they could, but they all saw this coming. Crow made his arrangements in advance, and didn't want to go in pain. He spent his last day indulging in his instincts, chasing birds and playing with the others. All 13 of the overseers and the administrator went for a walk around midday, and they passed the pond, where Crow said this is where he wanted to do it. He walked in a circle 3 times and laid down with his eyes closed. The administrator likes to think that the syringe didn't hurt him too bad. Area 11 is a small armory in the mansion's basement, with a variety of firearms and traditional weapons arranged on the walls. Touching any of the weapons displays a particular scar on the subject's body, which disappears after letting go of the weapon. One weapon, a vibro spear used on the moon during the Solidarity campaign, causes a bite mark to appear on the subject's calf.
What?
Area 11 is a small armory in the mansion's basement, with a variety of firearms and traditional weapons arranged on the walls. Touching any of the weapons displays a particular scar on the subject's body, which disappears after letting go of the weapon.
I thought that's what I heard him say. So, are these weapons of the wounded? Or the transcendents? The transcendents? I mean, yeah, man, you pick up a guy, man, you got a scar, yeah, man. You ain't trying to pick up something, got a scar. You know what I mean? I'm like, hold up. It's a nice little setup in there, though. It's a nice little setup in there, though. Yeah. What's that back there? Yeah, it's nice.
One weapon, a vibro spear used on the moon during the Solidarity campaign, causes a bite mark to appear on the subject's calf, the teeth marks of which don't correspond to any possible human dental set or known animal set.
On the moon.
Another weapon, a custom hand cannon with a rotating barrel emblazoned with the logo of the Foundation Agents Corporation, causes 15 large knife wounds to appear across the subject's chest, neck, and arms. In the attached file, 05-11 writes to the administrator, telling him to stop worrying about him. He's been doing this since way before having a desk job. He has the best security detail on the planet, and he's going to a site nobody even knows about. He tells the administrator to focus on filling the other 05 seats before worrying about what happens if his goes empty. He promises that he'll be fine. In the administrator's note, he says that 05-11, Troy, had the unfortunate fate of being too good at his job. He had apparently been an extremely talented field agent, but the administrator didn't want someone like him to waste his time in the Foundation by following up on Bigfoot rumors. Troy had the condition of being able to take on field jobs if he wanted, upon promotion to administration. Unfortunately, he had less and less time for field work as he rose in rank, but he was damn good at his job. He accepted the job of overseer not because he wanted it, but because he thought he should, as he was altruistic like that. Some people aren't fit for that life, though, filled with intrigue, pettiness, and messy politics, while Troy was a simple, down-to-earth guy. Despite that, he was good at being behind a desk as well. In 2063, though, he decided that he was needed at a site in the Levant, towards the tail end of the crisis. None of them were really sure which of their personnel were still truly loyal to the Foundation, but Troy believed that people needed to see their leaders, so that they could see they weren't scared. One of Troy's bodyguards turned out to be not so loyal, though, and even though he put up a hell of a fight and killed the man, he bled out in the car on the way to the site.
Damn.
The administrator writes that, knowing Troy, that's probably exactly how he'd wanted to go out. Area 12 is a bar cart in an auxiliary office in the mansion, filled with a large variety of liquor and alcohol.
No one.
The bottles in the cart never run out, but upon being poured into a glass, the liquid will change into...
Like he had the best of the best, and they turned... You see what I'm saying? Head on the swivel. That's why I say, I'm telling you, bro. Damn, bro. I mean, granted, the administrator knew how it was going to happen, but damn. Bruh, I promise you. Okay.
To another liquid, generally non-potable or toxic. One bottle containing an aged whiskey changes into warm, bitter water containing trace amounts of sulfur. Another, a jug of moonshine, changes into freezing cold, hard water, which scalds the throat when drunk and induces unconsciousness. This jug is nearly empty. In the attached file, it shows a conversation between 0512, 13, and the administrator, apparently the only ones left of the council. They share a drink of scotch, and they all agree that they had a good run. In the administrator's note, he says that 05-12, Alto Clef, deserved what he got. The only reason he made it on the council was because the Foundation needed a strong, capable military leader during the insurgency crisis.
That means he was cold.
Was a deranged maniac, but they've had a lot of deranged maniacs,
I'm sure.
and they needed one at the time.
Always.
He did his job and beat back the enemy
you
as
gotta
they
have
waged
your one
war
loose
with
cannon.
the insurgency in Asia, Africa, and even the Antarctic. Clef didn't know what to do after the war was over, as the council was not an action-packed job. He mellowed out and became the kind of guy you could drink with instead of the guy who started bar fights. None of the other overseers spent much time around him due to the things he did way back. One day, he went looking for a fight, and got one, but the administrator says that what happened isn't really important. He finishes by writing that, after Clef was dead and buried, he swears to God he saw the sun blink, just for a moment. That just leaves Area 13, a small graveyard in the outer grounds of the mansion. There are 13 gravestones arranged in a grid, each bearing an inscription that changes depending on the reader, conforming to their relationship with the subject of the tombstone. We're given a list of messages as recorded by 05-13. 01. Here lies Django Bridge, an archivist to the end. 02. Here lies David Rosen. Never saw it coming. 03.
Rosenberg?
Here lies Everett Mann. Could make anything except happiness. An empty grave. 04. Here lies Tilda Moose. Didn't know what she had until she gave it away. Died trying to get it back.
Tildy?
05.
Tildy? You croak
Here
Tildy?
lies
He said
Chelsea
Tildy,
Elliott.
Tildy Moose?
04. Here lies Tilda Moose.
Yeah.
Didn't know what she had until she gave it away.
Holla at you, Tildy.
Died trying to get it back. 05. Here lies Chelsea Elliott, nay Glaistig. Feet in two worlds, fit in neither.
Damn.
06. Here lies Ali ibn Bihan. Betrayed his countrymen, died of the guilt.
A lot of
07.
that going around.
Here lies Agatha Wrights, the only one I have ever loved. 08. Here lies Thaddeus Zank. Came from tomorrow to help us today. Never forgot what he left behind. 09. Here lies Gene Actus, a relic of the past, but he knew that. 10. Here lies Cain Pathos Crow. He was a good boy. 11. Here lies Troy Lament, the best I have ever known. 12. Here lies Alto Clef, rot in hell. 13. Memento Mori. The administrator's note then addresses 05-13. Dr.
All of those names. You was just giving the whole passage. Decipher. Put it together. Put it together.
Dr. Gears, who is the one reading this file. He writes that it's been 80 years now, and after getting Gears onto senior staff, then directorship, and then the council, he knows him well enough to know what he does when he's thinking about ending things. The administrator says that it's okay, as he's been here before the council, and he'll be here after. They ran the place well, but at the end of the day, they're still human. They make mistakes, and they have flaws, and that's all right. He can't help but feel responsible for the crushing burden the council members have felt, as this life isn't an easy one. They were each the best and the brightest of the Foundation, and he took them and ruined them. He tells Gears not to worry about what will happen afterwards, as the administrator's office has a handle on things since he stopped refilling the seats. It's time to start burying the past to make room for the future. There will never be a group like this again, and that's okay, as the mere existence of the council seems to invite tragedy. He admits that he doesn't know what will be next, but the age of the council is over. He finishes by telling Gears to come to his study when he's ready to end it, and that it's okay. He did a good job, and the administrator is proud of him. When most fans of the SCP universe think of the O5 Council, they'll conjure up images of shadowy figures who lack morality about the things they do in the name of protection. It's rare that we're given such an exceedingly human look at the members of the Council. Individuals that are heavily entwined with the anomalous, but are human nonetheless.
Hold up, bro.
Individual.
How the fuck we know? How we know that? We don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know that. Everything that looks human ain't human. I'm sorry to break it to you. And not to mention that, y'all don't even know what number 3 is. How the hell you know he human? You don't. So miss me with that cap, bro. Don't be capping. Like, listen, we ain't gonna do no capping around here, alright? Now we just gonna keep it 1,000. We don't know that. Hypothetically, if it was a thing, we don't know that. I don't know them people. I don't know Moose. I don't know them. Any one of them. I don't know. Did you do the autopsy? Did you? I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe you're the coroner, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe you did the embalming. I'm not sure. Maybe you know that they were human. Because some of the stuff they be doing don't seem human. Now, I know Tildy came off to be human. But we're dealing with fairies and all this other... You know what I'm talking about? Hold on now. By this whole script, everything didn't seem human to me. But we're going to let him finish.
Cry, worry, ponder, and ultimately die. It's certainly not an enviable job, as though...
Like, why they look like some people down there? You know what I'm talking about? They're like some itty bitty... Oh, okay.
Well, they are given prolonged lives, it's only for the purpose of continuing their thankless work. It's not a surprise that most of them chose to end their own lives once they couldn't bear it any longer, and almost none of them had any real happiness in their lives. Above all of them is the administrator, a figure that doesn't see himself as human any longer, who has to stand by and watch as all of these individuals come and go.
He's not, and he knows it.
He's sorry for all the pain he's caused by bringing them onto the council, and has come to the decision that the Foundation needs to go forward without a council from now on.
Oh, wow.
Perhaps he's realized that there are better ways for the Foundation to be run, or perhaps he just doesn't want to bear witness to the continued tragedy of losing council members. Now that they're gone, though, he encourages everyone at the Foundation to look upon their lives and to make sure that they're remembered.
So he just runs it. So the administrator I'm just gonna run it, bro. I just got the workers and me, man. I'm just not even finna have nobody else because I'm just not in. I mean, don't you have reverence for the employees as well? You should have that same reverence for them, right? Because, I mean, they could get caught. I mean, we're dealing with SCP, so they could get caught up too, right? So you will feel the same way if something happens to one of your staff members, right? I mean, I'm just saying. But, yo, if you made it thus far, salute to you. Peace and love to your extras. You know what I'm saying? Take some. You feel me? Because that was a long one. Very interesting indeed. I am very much so intrigued by that. You know what I'm talking about? Ooh, 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 ooh. I didn't know it was going to go there. Memento Mori, huh? I knew what the Memento was, but the Mori, I mean, I just ain't ran across that in the books yet. But I mean, like I said, I gave my disposition and you know what I'm saying, what I feel about the whole death thing. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to sway any minds. If that's the word that you want to use for it, then of course use that word. But attached to that word is a different meaning, is what I'm saying. So you may want to be careful at which word you use, because you know what I'm saying, you could be hanging yourself, literally. See what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. Be careful what you're speaking on, because the etymology of words is what you need to learn. The etymology. What the word meant then versus what the word means today. Yes, it matters. Yes, it very well matters. Because you do have certain spirits or entities that's on your planet, yes, on your planet, that goes by the old languages, Latin, Arabic. These languages, I've heard that Latin is supposed to be a unalived language. Highly doubt it. I doubt it. I don't believe that. Because once you start looking up etymology, you'll realize a lot of words that you use is a full Latin word. It was a full Latin word. Like if I say genius, that's not English. That's Latin. The word itself is Latin. Genius. We use this word all the time. He's a genius. Why would you call him something that's supposed to be unalive? It's an unalive language. So what is a genius? Oh, we got other words for that. He's intelligent. He's smart. Okay, well, why don't we use that? And where did genius come from if it's such a dead language? See what I'm saying? So, but that's a full Latin word. And there's several others that we use on a regular basis. It's a full Latin word. It ain't even English. But what they say, English, the English language is comprised of all the other languages. That's why I say be careful what you say, because a word in English does not mean what it means in Spanish. You say Jesus. Spanish says Jesus. And if Spanish is Latin and Latin is older than English, then that would say that Jesus' name is Zeus. But I'm not finna get into all that. I'm not gonna get into all that. I'm just saying. Just examples. That's just in the mindset, what you would think. It's like, okay, if English is comprised of all these languages, then this word in this language says this. This word in this language says this. This word in this language says this. But why in all the other countries does this word say Zeus, but in English it says Jesus? So it's just stuff like that. It's the trickery. It's trickery. So, I died laughing. You don't want to say that. Like stuff like that, Council Cook. You don't want to say stuff like that. And we're all guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? I had to get the baby powder out. I had to slap my goddamn self. For real. There's gonna be a lot of that going around. Just don't be too high horsefully proud to pull out the baby powder and slap yourself. You've been played the fool. It's okay. Let's get past it. We all went there. Everybody been played the fool. It's okay. Let's get past that. And let's try to figure it out. That's why I try to switch my vocabulary. So there's Latin, looking at it right off bat. But then as soon as the opener comes up, we go from Latin straight to the island of Turtle Island, the shores of Turtle Island, to Virginia. We know what took place. And this is where the artifacts are. In the mansion in Virginia that was around that time. And it's got stuff in there that even predates today. I'm sorry, am I not supposed to see that? Am I not supposed to call it? You feel me? Like, it is what it is, but what is it? That's what we got to get to. It is what it is, but what is it exactly? So we got a mansion that's in Virginia. We got 13. We know about 13 families. We know about all this, you know what I'm saying, 13 colonies. And you know what I'm saying? We know about Virginia being one of them, and Virginia was that forefront at one point. You know what I'm talking about? And then we got this mansion right here, which is pretty much would be set up with the Mason bar, which is a whole nother scenario. And it's got all these artifacts in there. Occultism. Come on, man. This is man, bruh. I wouldn't have to beat this over your head, man. Anybody with the mind and knew that have half the information that most of us got out here doing the research, bro, this is dead in the water. This was like an easy essay. I'm saying, man, I'm just saying. We was on this shit like clockwork. But I ain't here to sway no minds. I'm just trying to just drop out the highlights for it. For when you start seeing this stuff in your own world, and man, I don't know what you're looking for out there, people. You know what I'm saying? Academates. And if you're new, you feel me? I hope you enjoyed the video. But like I said, I don't know what y'all out there looking for. Everybody got their destiny. Everybody got their contract. Everybody got something they got to be doing. Whether good, bad, whatever you perceive. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got something they need to be doing. So I don't know what you're looking for. You feel me? I know what I'm looking for. And I know when I see it, I get it. But then there's other things that I don't intend to find because it's not what I'm looking for. And I end up seeing it. And it's like, I wonder if I'm the only person that saw it that way. I can't be, of course. But I wonder if I'm the only person that saw it that way and actually spoke about it to where the you know what I'm saying? Like we can bring some awareness to this because like, why is this stuff supposed to not be real, but we're using real artifacts, real locales, real story, real background, real things that some people ain't heard of because they don't that's not their lane. You see what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of us miss a lot of stuff. I'm not into that. So you miss a lot of information. So when it finally comes your way, you're left out there not knowing what exactly is going on just because you didn't even want to get the information. Who said you had to get into it and love it? I got into certain things and I ain't love it like that. I just got into it because I was interested in something else and it ran me down that lane. So I took what came with that lane. Once it was time to get out of it, I didn't stay in it because that's not where I was going. That's not the direction. It just led me that way. And then I come out of it and then I continue on with my path. This is a part of the journey for me. And I'm highlighting certain things that I'm seeing that's tagging on to a history and timeline that I was raised on. And I'm not just going to excuse that because I'm here looking for monsters. Because I happen to know that there are monsters in bodies, in human skin. There are monsters walking around that look like you and I. which y'all like to call human, which I can guarantee you, I can promise you, every single human type looking body that you've looked at was not a human. Every single one, every single person that you can see in a day, 9 times out of 10, dude, if you saw 20 people, at least 10 of them were alien. And let me not use alien. Let me use extraterrestrial. At least 10 of those were extraterrestrial. And then you got your other 10 that you would be considered human. There's going to be a separation between them because of DNA. But let's not even do that, because you still have interterrestrial. They're still not the same as your human. So we're already dealing with 3 different types of species on the planet. One comes from the out, one's coming from the in, one's on top, and some getting burnt skin. It says a lot. And then it's almost like doing recovery work here. For me. But anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Y'all make sure y'all keep y'all head on that swivels out there. You feel me? Don't forget to keep yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally protected. You know what I mean? Don't let the world drive you crazy. Even if you find something that just seems to be a little bit amazing. Yeah. I become bilingual too. You know what I'm talking about? Learn another language too, people. May help yourself. Go look up some etymology. You know what I mean? Learn what some of the English words really mean. You know what I mean? You may be saying the wrong thing. I promise. You do yourself a favor. You do yourself a favor. You know what I'm saying? You do your own due diligence. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Y'all get y'all some deals. Y'all make sure y'all keep y'all the keg of oil that is operational in love. You know what I'm saying? You make sure you keep you some of that with you. You remember to operate in the green. That is the cosmic energy balance, love. You know what I mean? Heart chakra. Make sure you stay in that. If they try to pull you down, you better make sure it's worth it. I say nothing's worth it. If it's that important, they need to come up and see you. Because they need to come up and see you. Because coming down always leads to a problem for those that had to step down. You feel me? So y'all make sure y'all keep yourselves together. Keep the peace. Keep the love. You know what I mean? Stick together. Read a book. And until next time, peace.